Good morning there, Visionary family, and welcome back to another one with Lady Visionary. Hope you guys are doing amazing. If you're new to my channel, make sure you go ahead and smash the red subscribe button as always. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Make sure you smash on the like button. Go over and support me on Instagram. My name there is Lady Visionary, and I also have a business Instagram which so many of you know about now, which I launched, the Glamp site, over at Lake Burera, which is in the northern province of Rwanda. If you go over there, you can actually see some different images of people who have experienced the Glamp site and have been giving us already really good feedback over on Instagram, as well as over on Google reviews. So we are Twin Lakes recreational island. I'm seeing a couple of you in the building. Hello, 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 and welcome. Let me know where you're listening in from. I would really appreciate that. Let me know where you're listening in from. It is gone just what 9:04 a.m. in the morning here in Rwanda. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. I've got my sunglasses on. Yesterday I was at a Rwandan traditional wedding. It was absolutely beautiful. One of our family members getting married. So I wish I could share that with you, but it was very private. So yeah, maybe when you're in Rwanda, I can invite you to a traditional wedding and you can see what that's actually like. So yes, as I said, and those of you who haven't yet seen my launch video, because I had been talking about the Glamp site and what I was doing. I talked about it a lot on the channel, but I didn't showcase it. And so I finally launched the business that I've been working on over the past year in Rwanda, and finally birthed it so you guys can see what Lady Visionary has been rambling on about all this time. So please go and check out the launch video. If you're coming and you want to connect with me, please email me. I will also leave the description details down below in the description. You can also DM me on Instagram as well. And yeah, come and see what I've put together. Come and support your girl, Lady Visionary, or your Lady Visionary. Some people don't like it when I say girl. So yes, yeah, come and support if you can. And if you are coming to Rwanda and you're looking for a nice Airbnb place to stay in Kigali, then please consider my Airbnb in Kigali, Kiyovu. We're located right close by the presidential residence. So it's a beautiful neighborhood, very clean. Our Airbnb is affordable as well. I will also leave those details down below in the description bar as well. So good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm waiting for more of you guys to come in. I know a lot of you guys have missed me. Lady Visionary, where are you? Are we seeing content? We want to see more content and all that. But I'm just super busy running around behind the scenes, working. I will continue to give you guys content on Rwanda. I do want to be able to travel to different countries on the motherland, obviously, and showcase it. But right now, I've recently launched my business. I'm working a lot on the promotional side, and I guess increasing the traffic to my business. I think I spoke about this very earlier on, that I'm one of those YouTubers who, I don't want to be reliant on YouTube. So I've been building my legacy behind the scenes. So, anything could happen to YouTube tomorrow. And yeah, I guess anything could happen to my business tomorrow. But that is a more sustainable option, and it's a legacy that I'm building that will continue to grow, and it's something that I'm going to pass on to my children and their children and their children's children. So that's why I've been kind of missing in action, because I'm behind the scenes just working, putting in the work. Thank you guys so much for coming in. You guys are amazing. This morning I'm here with you guys. As I said, so many of you guys have been saying, Lady Visionary, you're missing in action. So here I am. If you have any questions, throw them at me. And this morning I'm here and I'm having African tea, one of the very popular teas here in Rwanda, made with different ingredients, and it tastes so good. And one of the ingredients that we put in the African tea is ginger with milk. And yeah, it tastes so good. I drink this almost almost every morning. But beforehand, I did have a rosemary tea because I was having a slight stomach upset, which after drinking that rosemary tea this morning, I'm feeling completely better, thank God. But yeah, I wanted an African tea as well. I'm being a bit greedy. And so good. I love it. So tell me where you guys are listening in from. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm about to get into this live, just waiting for a couple more people to join. The topic, I want to update you guys on what's happening with COVID in Rwanda, because so many of you, I know you want to know that you're planning on traveling to Rwanda, and want to know exactly what's happening with COVID. And as the title says, Rwanda has banned the promotion or advertising of medicines and medical services. And I will get into that in more details. And you guys can tell me what you think about this ban. I know some people are not particularly pleased about it, but I'll go into it and then you can tell me your opinion about it, right? I don't know if any of you have read about it from the New Times and you have anything to share. So enjoying my African tea this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Seeing more of you in the building. Hey, hey, hey. I'm going to greet you all in a minute, but again, as I said, let me know where you're listening in from. Are you in Rwanda? Where are you? Where are you in the world? I'd love to know. Are you coming to Rwanda? Let's connect. Yeah, last night we had some guests arrive in Rwanda for the very first time. So we went to go and meet them at the airport. So that was really lovely. Really, really, really nice. So who do we have in the building before we get into this topic? Who do we have in the building? Right. So we had a super chat. I can't pronounce that for the life of me, but thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciated. Miss Corn is a bit in the building. Good Grand Rising, sis. Is Sister Adua in Kimirongo. Oh, amazing. Kimirongo is here in Kigali, for those of you guys wondering. Hey, good morning. I'm coming to Musanze Tuesday, so I'll try to hook up. I'm starting a directory of Rwanda, so I will come and interview you to promote your place. I will not be in Musanze on Tuesday. I'm super, super busy, so it's best that you email me and set up an appointment. Because yeah, on Tuesday I am not in Musanze. Malachi is in the building. Hello, 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 and welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Malachi Mohammed. See more of you guys. Fishon is in the building. Thank you so much. Fishon is one of my behind the scenes members. So if you haven't joined behind the scenes membership, please go ahead and support your girl, Lady Visionary. Please support your girl, Lady Visionary. So that's indicated by that side S there. So thank you so much for being a member. And I want to say thank you to all members. So Ms. Corin is asking a question. What do you mean a ban? So we being made to use Western medicine and not herbal alternatives that's been used and proven for hundreds of years. So I will get into that in more details in a moment, okay? Right, just greeting you all before I get into the topic, allowing more people to come in. So yes, Rwanda has banned the advertising of medicines and medical services, and we are going to get into that in a moment, okay? Right, Malachi, in the Atlanta, Georgia area traveling. Oh, wow, okay. Anne-Marie Harding is in the building. Hello again from Croydon. Hey, hey, hey. M. Moore is also indicated that by the symbol there. Thank you so much. A big supporter. Can't sleep, USA. Oh, bless. And thank you so much for being one of our behind the scenes supporters. That really really helps us in our projects that we're doing here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Can't thank you enough. Chosen Queen, hi from the USA. Initially planned on moving there, but I've shifted to another country. Wow. Okay, so you're planning to move to Rwanda, but now you have shifted to another country. Which country is that? And why did you change your mind about? Why did you change your mind about Rwanda? Guys, I'm having some African tea. At least I'm not eating breakfast on camera, right, guys? Don't complain. I love my African tea. I will email you, sis, no problem. Congratulations, sister. Thank you so much. Yes, it's better to email me. If you're coming to Rwanda, it's better to email me because I'm all over the shop right now. Busy as a bee. And obviously I do want to make time for my supporters and you know, different people. However, you know, you must also appreciate that I'm on a schedule and I'm happy to fit people in, but it has to be planned. Has to be planned. Like my days are very crazy busy. So yeah. So let's get into the topic. So let's first talk about COVID. COVID, you guys know that one of the requirements was from Rwanda was that you had to take a COVID test prior to departing from, you know, your destination, right? And then on arrival, you will also have to take another COVID test on arrival, right? So all these COVID tests and extra costs, you know, they add up and a little bit off-putting. But now, and also you had to take a COVID test when you, not only when you came into Rwanda, you had to take another one at Kigali International Airport, but also you had to take a COVID test prior to departure. But guess what, guys? Guess what now? So now, and you can find this information out from the Rwanda Biomedical Center. So which all the information I'll give you today, you can actually find this out yourself from the Rwanda Biomedical Center, okay? So I do advise that you go and look to confirm the information for yourself. So it is no longer a requirement for you to have a COVID test before departing to Rwanda. And it's no longer required for you to have a COVID test when you land here in Rwanda. And it's no longer required that you take a COVID test prior to departing from Rwanda. Can we get an amen, please? Can we get an amen? Like all these COVID tests, like I'm sure, like, you know, people who wanted to come to Rwanda, who have been put off by all these COVID procedures, you know, now there's no excuse. But then I would say also, but you need to check with the airline that you're traveling with, because it may be a requirement from the airline that you get a COVID test, but it's not a requirement from Rwanda that you have a COVID test prior to departing from the country that you're coming from. When you land here, it's not required. And when you're departing, it's not required. But you need to, I think you would need to check out the requirements for different airlines and countries if you have to do stopovers and so on and so forth. Oh my God, that's a big relief for a lot of people, I think. A big relief for a lot of people. But they do say, like in the guidelines, that they encourage you to do regular COVID testings, right? But yeah, it's not a requirement. And guys, I'll tell you something. Listen, a lot of you guys know that, you know, like when it came to the height of the COVID, Rwanda was extremely strict. Like in general, anyway, Rwanda is a strict country. You know, they believe in discipline and order. So if you're not willing to conform to discipline and order, I would say that Rwanda is not for you. For me, I'm here because I do like the governance here, and I do believe in discipline and order. And I have seen over the years, since I've been coming to Rwanda, 2014, how much discipline, law, and order has moved the country along in a positive way, right? Other people may have their arguments. That's up to you. I'm not here to argue. But for me, in my personal opinion, what I've seen You know, I like that discipline and order, and I don't think Rwanda would be able to make the progress it has made if it wasn't for that discipline, law, and order, right? So if you think that you know, you can't manage the discipline and order, and you know, then I'd say Rwanda is not for you, right? I love Rwanda because the discipline and order and the safety aspect for me, bringing up my children and so on, is very important, right? I feel safe in Rwanda, and yeah, I feel like I can make progress here. That's why I'm here, okay? I don't feel restricted. I don't feel like, you know, I feel free in Rwanda. I do feel free in Rwanda. But I love the governance of Rwanda, and I love how the country has clear projections. There's a roadmap to how it's going to make bigger achievements in the future. I love that. I want to be a part of that journey, hence why I'm here, okay? But I must say, in the height of the pandemic, wearing the masks was so challenging for me. The mask, you know, you're wearing them, especially obviously when you're inside your house, you don't have to wear masks. Those were the rules. But when you go out into the public space, as soon as you leave your gate, you had to make sure you had your mask, and there were going to be fines. There was even a time where I was fined $25 for not wearing my mask in the car, right? And I was with my husband. I did try to challenge it, but guys, I lost. But you guys, if you haven't checked out that video, it's somewhere on my channel, so you're gonna have to go and find it. But that was the only time I got fined for not wearing a mask, and they were very, very strict about that. You would be fined for not wearing a mask here in Rwanda. But it's so strict that even now, that, you know, masks. So at that time it was mandatory, but now it's not mandatory. But they do encourage, you know, that you wear a mask in some spaces, but it's not mandatory. But you know, so moving out of that mandatory state to now in a position where it's not mandatory, there are days where I'm like, oh my God, where's my mask? Where's my mask? Even though like it hasn't been mandatory for a couple of months now. But I do find myself going, oh my God, where's my mask? Because I'm thinking, well, I don't want to be fined, you know. So, you know, Rwanda, I'm telling you, the fear was there. Like people were wearing their masks. Like there was really law and order. Yeah, people got fined for not wearing masks, but the majority of people were wearing their masks because they didn't want to end up in a situation where they were being fined or, you know, taken to some sort of holding place and so on and so forth. So we were the people of Rwanda, we were pretty much well behaved, you know, we were pretty much well behaved. And so it's quite challenging coming out of that mandatory state, as I said, to now being in a position where it's not mandatory, you know, COVID testing coming into the country is not mandatory, and leaving the country, COVID testing is not mandatory. Because also like those tests and things up your nose and things down your throat, I was like so over it. I was so over it. Like I would just be like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I just hated it with a passion. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But yeah, finally we're you know, I think for a lot of you, maybe traveling to Rwanda, or maybe, you know, coming to visit and leaving Rwanda, you may be feeling that sense of relief that, you know, the COVID testing is not a requirement to come into Rwanda and also to leave Rwanda. So that's good news. And then it saves you a couple of, well, I'd say about all of the tests that you'd have to do would cost a couple, well, it depends, a couple of hundreds or 150 altogether. So you may, $150, I'm talking in dollars. So you've saved yourself some money there. You save yourself some money. So that's good, because all of that would add up. And then, you know, one of the challenges that is that people were like, I think, really exploiting the situation with regards to COVID testing. Seriously, they will hike the prices. Like, it was just so terrible because, like, you know, this is my experience in like Tanzania. Like when I was in Tanzania, like you call some clinics and they're saying like one COVID test is $150. And then if you want it fast tracked, it's $200, you know, and like, there were three of us. So if we wanted it fast tracked, it'd be $600 just for a COVID test to leave the country. So anyway, but when I was in Tanzania, I managed to find a place where the COVID test was, I think, around $50. But yeah, this situation has really been exploited, and it's just time for it to stop. I'm so over COVID. I'm so over COVID. But yeah, let's read some more of your comments and then get into it. So the advertising of medicines and medical services have been banned here in Rwanda, and that came out last month from the Ministry of Health. So again, what I'm saying to you, you can go and verify it through the Rwanda Ministry of Health, okay? Chosen Queen. Due to health issues, I need body autonomy. Western medicine has had me on the brink of death several times. I can deal with strict, but this is another level. It depends. It really depends, you know, it really depends. So before you make any conclusion, please listen to what I'm going to say. Listen to what I'm going to say. Okay. Yes, Miss Corin is saying, yes, I panicked when I don't have my mask. It takes getting used to seeing people's faces. It's nice to see who we're talking to. Yes, most definitely. Yeah, I do have those moments where I'm like, oh my goodness, do I have my mask? Miss Corin, yum, African tea I like, but I have to send you my range of gourmet honey. I'm drinking cinnamon honey tea, yum, yum. Oh, I love cinnamon. Sometimes I put cinnamon in my African tea. So yeah, I love a bit of cinnamon in my African tea, give it that extra spice and yeah, I do love that. Sorry guys, I don't want my African tea to get cold. But yes, let's get into it. So I told you this came out last month. I wasn't aware of it, but someone brought it to my attention and I thought I would bring it on the channel. So yes, the Ministry of Health in Rwanda has banned the advertising of medicines and medical services, unless you have authorization to do so, right? So, you know, this is to like media, mainly like to media outlets, so media houses, right? You can't just go out there and just disseminate information with regards to medicine and medical services, just like that. Previously, this wasn't regulated in this way, but because of certain issues within the country that, you know, has been identified through the Ministry of Health, they have decided to ban the advertising of medicine and medical services. So yeah, so obviously there's now a process by which you have to follow if you're a media house or a clinic or any sort of health organization. There's a process. You can find out this information through the Ministry of Health. So you have to go through to them, I guess, present the materials that you want to publicize. You have to gain approval before that information is disseminated. I know people will have mixed emotions about this, or mixed views about the fact that this has been banned and you have to go through a process. But I think that, you know, across Africa, people kind of, whether it's continental Africans that get into this sort of business, or whether it's foreigners that come into Africa, and basically there's no regulation, so they can advertise anything how they want, and there's no accountability. They can advertise things that are dangerous and can cause serious damage and harm to people's lives and well-being, right? And so you will go to so many African countries where different things are being advertised. You know, I've been to countries where, you know, bleaching cream, it's just every other billboard, it's a bleaching cream, and you know, bleaching cream has been found to have damaging effects on the skin, and in the long term can cause cancer. But like, this has been advertised. For example, here in Rwanda, bleaching cream has been banned. It's not allowed. I'm not saying I haven't seen it. Just because something is banned doesn't mean things happen don't happen illegally. But that you don't see any advertising here of bleaching creams And I love that. I think it was back in 2000 and, oh God, which year was it? Back in 2013, when I was in Ghana, I was just so astonished by every other billboard. It was advertising, these these bleaching creams for people to lighten their skins and so on and so forth. No control about these type of drugs that are coming into the country. Whereas now, I don't know the situation right now in Ghana, but let me just talk about Rwanda. There is a regulation on the types of drugs that are coming into the country, because it is damaging and harmful to people's lives. And I guess also Rwanda recognizes that social media is very, very powerful, and the impacts that it can have. I mean, it's so out of control that a lot of people in the West and in the Americas, you have no control of your children. Your children are controlled by the media, advertising. You can't talk to your children. You tell them not to do something, they tell you to shut up. That's how powerful the media is. And so, with the type of governance that Rwanda has and the type of control, they are making sure that they protect their people for the long term, right? Because when people they see that we're in a country, there's not enough laws and regulations around specific things, they will use that to their advantage, to the detriment of the people. So Rwanda is not, it's banned, which means you can't just come out and advertise as you like. There is a process, there is a channel by which that advertising material has to be approved by the Ministry of Health. Has to be approved by the Ministry of Health, right? You look at Rwanda is a developing country, right? It has issues around illiteracy. Illiteracy is around the ability to read and write and understand a few sentences regarding to one's daily life, right? I mean, literacy rate has improved significantly in Rwanda. I think right now the literacy rate is above 70%. However, if you break that percentage down, you will find that there's still some challenges around the understanding, how much information people are able to understand. So there's still some challenges around illiteracy. So if you have people that are not educated, they don't fully understand the information around them, then they can be easily coerced by any information that is given. So what has the government done to combat that? They have controlled or put policies in place to control advertising to protect the most vulnerable in the population, right? That includes, in Africa, there's different practices of witchcraft, different practices of medicines and so on. That is harmful and detrimental to people's lives. You find in other countries that governance doesn't care. They don't care. But here in Rwanda, they care about the people. They care about the people. And that's why a part of the reasons you'll have to find out, if you want to find out more from the Ministry of Health, you can go ahead and do so. But they are protecting the lives of the population, right? They're protecting the lives of the population, because people will come in and advertise in a manipulative way, right? Social media, the media houses are very, 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 very powerful in the way that they get people to do things, and it's at the expense sometimes of their own lives. Many of us, even in the West, in the Americas, you've been on the bandwagon. It's only in recent months, in recent years, that you've actually woken up to the realities of this world, because the media, what is the system that has been by design to navigate your life for you, has been working all this time, and you haven't really lived a life that has been determined by yourself. You've just been going, and doing things according to your environment, the projections from your environment, from the TV, and so on and so forth. You haven't have a mind, you don't have a mind of your own to think, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Because there's a lot of programs in our society that we just follow. We're just conditioned to follow. And so Rwanda being a developing countries with illiteracy problems, they have to protect the population. Otherwise, these different organizations will come in and manipulate the people's mind and get them doing things that is at the detriment to them, but other people are pocketing at their expense, right? Other people are pocketing at the expense of the poor and the vulnerable in our society. So I think it was a good move. We're seeing policies in Rwanda that a lot of other countries in Africa need to follow suit, right? Let me hear what you guys are saying. Miss Cora, let's hear from you. Yes, I think this is a good way to standardize services and advertising and to stop to giving people false hope. But what I'm concerned about is the process of validation and the cost. Right. So I don't know about the process, the full process of validation. But here in Rwanda, they're very, very reasonable. Very, very reasonable. Rwanda is a country that if you're doing good, they will facilitate you. So I have no doubt if your intentions are good, you know that you have to go through the right channels to gain authorization to be able to publicize or advertise whatever materials that you want with regards to medicine and medical services. The Ministry of Health is actually there to work with organizations who want to make a positive contribution to Rwanda. They will be there to facilitate you. They will be there to give you the guidelines. The processes may not be, as fast as we would like it to be, but in Rwanda, there really isn't any shortcuts, right? In Rwanda, there really isn't any shortcuts. You have to follow the processes. You can't think that you're going to come, pay a couple of $100 and doors will open for you. No, you have to go through the right processes. Rwanda is known as a country where there is low corruption. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but the corruption here is significantly low. Right? As you're going to, I've said this on my channel before, as you're going to pay an officer for a bribe, the same officer will put you in handcuffs. Kuru, let's go down to the station, right? And you can find yourself serving some years in prison just because you tried to offer some bribe, right? So one word of advice, follow the process, right? And be prepared, because one of the challenges here in Africa and also in Rwanda is that some processes are painfully slow, to the point where patience, you don't even know what the word patience means anymore, because you've had so much patience that you don't know what to do next. You don't know what to do next. So I'd say be prepared. And I've also said that to those of you who are coming, bear with me. Bear with me, guys. Someone has just arrived. Bear with me. Hello, who are you here to see? Hello, good evening. Good morning. Who are you here to see?
I'm here. I'm coming.
Okay. All right. Get Evine and then you can let him in. Yeah. Oh, he's here from Liquid for the internet. Yeah.
This one too?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. So there's someone that arrived to sort out my internet. Hopefully we can get that sorted very, very quickly. But I sort of lost my trail of thought. But yes, as I said, you have to follow the processes. Some processes can take extremely long, but it's something that you have to prepare for. And on that note, I must say, because it's something I've always said on my channel, that when you're moving to Rwanda or thinking about moving to Rwanda, relocating here, setting up a business here, you need to do extensive research. You need to find out about the processes that that you may need to follow. What are the laws in regards to what you want to set up? Because yes, in Rwanda, it can take you less than 24 hours to set up a business, right? But it doesn't mean that you can operate after 24 hours. So you must, you must connect with someone in the Rwanda Development Board so that you know what are all the requirements prior to getting here or prior to registering your business. You have to put that in your plan, because you may come, you don't know all the information, you want to get ready, you want to get up and start going like tomorrow, but you find that actually that's not the case. So yes, can take you 24 hours or less than 24 hours to register your business here, but it doesn't mean that you can just start operating just like that. It could take you months to start operating. So, but then you need to know, okay, once I register my business, what is it going to take for my business to be fully operational? What other criteria do I need to fulfill in order to start operating in Rwanda, right? Because there are regulations around that, and there are criteria that you may have to meet depending on the type of business that you're going to set up, right? So you just must be careful about that one. Be very, very careful about that one, and make sure you plan, connect with the Rwanda Development Board, and gain in-depth information prior to your investment move or relocation journey. I cannot stress that enough. And on that note, I do offer relocation and business consultation for anybody who's thinking about relocating and doing business in Rwanda. It's completely affordable, but some people get here, find themselves in a muck, but it's something that I offer, and it's completely affordable, right? So do consider that. I will leave the details down below in the description bar. You can email me, projecthealtha@gmail.com. If you check out my description boxes from all my videos, you can see my email. You can contact me. You can direct message me on Instagram, Lady Visionary. Let's set up a consultation. If I don't know the information, I'm going to direct you to the professionals who have more knowledge than me about a specific area, for example. Right? Don't just come, find yourself in a situation and be like, oh my God, Lady Visionary, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. You need to plan. Rwanda will facilitate, but some processes within business, especially the type of business that you want to set up, you may have to go through a process of proving and meeting some criteria before you can be operational. You cannot start to operate in Rwanda because you say, oh, I've registered my company. No, you may need to fulfill some other criteria before you can start to operate. So you must bear that in mind, because that is critical. That is very critical, and it can impact your entire journey here in Rwanda, right? So I'm here for you guys. Let me know where you're listening in from. Let me know if you have any questions. I just wanted to spend some time with you guys this morning. Please make sure you like the live stream if you've been finding this useful. You can support my work with a super chat every time I'm live, and also via PayPal. I've sent the details along the screen, so please feel free to support the vision. Right. Bear with me. Is it Amo Weku Journey? I believe most developed countries have the same regulations on medical promotion in the media. And a rising issue will be each citizen's belief in what works and who's controlling the narrative. Yeah, I mean, things are changing now. Things are changing now. You're seeing countries bring in regulations and so on and so forth. But in a lot of countries, to be honest, there's not that they may be policies, but there's no accountability. And here in Rwanda, people are held accountable. people are held accountable. And that's one of the major differences between Rwanda and so many other countries out there on the motherland. Accountability. We have policies, we have law and order. We have policies that actually are implemented and that actually work. Because there's one thing to design a policy and make it look so beautiful and then just put it in some cabinets. But there's one thing to have policies and actually implement those policies, right? Implementation of policies for Africa is very, very important. Governance, good governance is very, very important for the motherland. Discipline and order is very important for the motherland. Miss Corinne is saying, I agree, sis. Rwanda protection level is fantastic. My concern is how it translates. As long as there is training and it's filtered down into the government offices and the support system, it will work. I mean, yeah, with everything, it takes time. You know, people have to be trained. You know, people have to be educated on a particular policy or a particular system. It takes time, but at least it's a start. You have to start somewhere, right? And Rwanda is a clear example that, you know, it started something and it's been able to build over the last 25, 30 years. It's been able to build because it had to start from somewhere. There's been a lot of changes that people have to adapt to. Like, for example, you know, back in 2014, when I first came to Rwanda and so on, say 2016 and onwards, the amount of road traffic accidents here was just alarming. To me, it was very, very alarming. And I was just like, my goodness, like something has to be done, right? But in recent years, Rwanda has introduced some policies around road traffic accidents. They have put like more policing to make sure people are obeying traffic laws. They have put up speed cameras so that, you know, to regulate people speeding and killing people on the streets. And with those implementations, policies that have been implemented, not just been designed and put in a cupboard, policies that have been implemented, it has saved lives in Rwanda. It has brought down the number of road traffic accidents significantly in Rwanda. So they had to start from somewhere. And I was like, by God, something has to happen, because it was so, for me, I thought it was so scary, you know, moving from Musanze, going, ascending up those hills into going to Musanze and so on. The number of road traffic accidents you would see was just unbelievable. And Rwanda has been able to make an impact. I mean, you know, with every change, people are going to be resistant, because once you're caught speeding, once those, basically the camera system, I think they're called I think she's called Sophia. Yeah, Sophie. So they have a camera system here called Sophie. Anyone out there? It's either Sophie or Sophia, one of them, right? But it's a camera system, a speeding camera system, that if you're caught speeding, you know, everybody's car is connected to their phone. So once you're caught speeding, within about 3-4 hours, you get a beautiful text message on your phone telling you that you've been fined. And it tells you where this offense took place, where in the country this took place. And it tells you that you need to pay the fine of 25,000 Rwandan francs, which is about $25. And you need to pay it by a certain time, otherwise the fine increases. And the system is automated that you can pay digitally, you can pay online, right? So, you know, people will complain about that system, but if you, all you have to do is follow the rules. Don't speed, drive within the advised speed limits, and you're going to be totally fine. So yeah, guys, Rwanda is, you know, making big moves, and not everybody will agree, But for me, I like the way that things are progressing, and things can always be better. Definitely, anywhere, everywhere, things can also be better. Like, for me, Rwanda has they've banned a lot of like NGOs and so on because there are just issues with accountability of so many NGOs in Africa. Rwanda being one of them, so they do have a criteria and type of NGOs and so on. And, even Rwanda has banned, I think it was over 2,000 churches that was in Rwanda. They banned them. Churches are not banned, I'm not saying that, but they were deregistered, right? Because there's a lot of things that happen that captures people's mind space, and it's at the expense of vulnerable people. So yes, the president deregistered those churches to over 2,000 or something like that. Why do we need 2,000 churches in a small country like Rwanda? Tell me that. If you're all supposed to be for the same cause, why do you need 2,000 churches? I'm not saying that churches are bad and so on and so forth. But what I do know is that people use the Bible, evil people use the Bible to manipulate vulnerable people, to suck the life out of them, to suck money out of them. Especially poor, illiterate people. People use them to their own advantage. And we are so grateful to be in a country and have such a governance that regulates such situations. Over 2,000 churches were banned, deregistered, boom, gone. And the same with NGOs. We have a limited amount of NGOs here, even though I think that Rwanda needs to ban some more NGOs that are operating in Rwanda. Why do I say this? Because 95% of the NGOs that you see in these different African countries, they're not for the benefit of the people. They're there because they have their own interests. They get money. They get money from these different external places, from Europe, from America. They get the money. They get the money in huge quantities. And we're talking about millions and billions. Those people, the directors, those people in high places, you go and check their backgrounds before they started working for those NGOs. Then when they started working for those NGOs, overnight, they turn into millionaires. They build villa in Africa. They have the most expensive cars. But go and ask the people that they're supposed to be helping, go and ask them for a testimony. They're still suffering. Yet those people who are supposed to be helping those people who have mobilized funding and made some beautiful reports about how they're going to help poor African people, they have their own interests at heart. So my call is for there to be more accountability and regulations for even the existing NGOs coming, especially those ones coming from abroad. They need regulation, and they need to be banned. They need to be kicked out of Rwanda. I'd love to see them go. I'd love to see the government of Rwanda kick some more NGOs out of Rwanda, because 95% of them, I swear, they're no good. They're there for their own interest, and they're there to exploit poor, vulnerable people so they can get rich. You see them, these people, they have villas, 4 or 5 villas from the money that they're getting from NGOs. And you go and see the impact that they've made to community, almost zero. And with the number of NGOs, just take Rwanda as a small country with a population of 13 million. And these so-called NGOs that are mobilizing millions or billions of dollars and pounds to help poor, vulnerable people, whether it be HIV, whether it be cancer, whether it be this, whether it be that. I mean, why are you not making the larger impact that you should be making with such money? That you have to question those things. We have young people. I know Rwanda is doing a lot, but you know, if these organizations are coming in and supposed to be some sort of substitute or facilitating these different areas of development, you know, the development goals, you know, yes, primary education here is free. That's amazing. But what about those young people who want to transition from to secondary into higher education? So I'm talking about higher education degrees. They still have a challenge. I meet so many young people here who are fighting to get into university. One of the challenges that they don't have the funds to pay their way to get through the university. And what are these NGOs, so-called NGOs, saying that they're doing here in Rwanda? My God, guys, so heartbreaking. So I'd like to see the Rwandan government ban some more NGOs here in Rwanda. It's just so sad. These people continue to exploit the motherland, and they find different channels by which they're going to do it. Right? Their interest is not to see Africa rise. Their interest is not to see Rwanda elevate. Their interest is to see their own pockets rise, their own pockets elevate at the expense of poor and vulnerable people. Do you get what I'm saying, guys? Are you guys still following me here? If all of these NGOs in Rwanda mobilize, put their resources together, then no young person trying to get into higher education would be going through the type of challenges that they are going through now. Because they're so greedy, right? They're so greedy. In their minds, they're thinking about their own long-term goals of how they can continue to build their own riches and keep Africa poor, write a beautiful report, gain more funding, get a few testimonies from one or two people, and then everybody believes that that organization has done a wonderful, wonderful job. But actually, it's all a lie. And this is how they've been able to continuously mobilize funding, millions, billions of dollars and pounds, and line their own pockets. But that's why also you see the continuous challenges that Africa face. Right? And it's easier for these organizations to operate in Africa, where they'll have less accountability and they can move money around where they like. But obviously in Europe, they have a little bit more supervision and accountability. But in Africa, they can operate how they like and do what they like with the funding and continue to ask for money. And you know, that's why I say that the power of social media is very important. The power of media and advertising is so powerful, because someone like me who is struggling to, you know, is struggling with certain projects, I shouldn't be doing that. I'm meeting firsthand people who really need help, and I'm meeting people who, me and my husband, we have been able to help. We've been able to send young people to higher education with the little that we have. So I'm thinking, if these organizations who say that they're big organizations that have, you know, billions of income every year, if they were really for the cause, a lot of these young people will be where they need to be. If they were really working for the people, working with the government, we wouldn't have the sort of challenges that we have, for example, around education, around healthcare, around maternal health, right? We wouldn't have those type of challenges, but because we have greedy people, we have the continuous situation of people suffering and being in need. Because we have greedy people who have enough or more than enough, we have people on the motherland who will continue to suffer and forever be needy, right? So guys, let me read some more of your comments. Make sure you smash the like button if you're liking the conversation. If you have anything to comment, then let me know. I will be going off stream in the next couple of minutes, so 5-10 minutes. And so if you have any questions, please do let me know. Please do let me know. I'll be only here for about an hour, 5-10 minutes, okay? Chosen Queen, this entire situation is a money grab. Yes. You know, a lot of people setting up non-government NGOs, if you don't want to know what I mean, non-government organizations, 95% of them, their motive is not to advance the African people. Their motive is to get rich, you know, showcasing vulnerable or using vulnerable people in Africa, right, to advance their own pockets, to line their own pockets. That's the truth, and I'm not scared to tell the truth, right? Miss Karen, one of the things I love about Rwanda is the no tolerance on corruption. I was in Ghana and the corruption was appalling. Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, you know, like when I was in Ghana, I think it was 2015, 2016, I was doing some master's research project. For those of you guys who don't know, I did a master's in global health and international development. My intention was to work for a non-government organization, but when I went through certain experiences, I did my research and so on, worked with a couple of NGOs and realized what it was. And even though I could be making a hell of a lot of money working for these organizations, I didn't feel good in myself. I couldn't feel good in myself knowing that these things are happening and I'm okay with a nice paycheck when I know that actually these people are corrupt and they're building themselves based off the back of vulnerable poor people. I cannot do that. That's why I'm using my global health masters in a different way. I believe in setting up businesses in Africa to employ our people. And also with my company, I have a social impact arm. Some of the money that the profits goes back into the community. But my model is one of business. So I believe that's a sustainable model by which Africa can strive. You know, charity is not sustainable for Africa. Charity is not sustainable for the people. Because the more people that come in and learn, oh, this one has got rich through charity money. This one has built his villa. This one is driving this car. This one has this. Then they learn those behaviors. It's just a continuous cycle. I said, I can't come into this space and do what so many people have been doing for the last 10, 15, 20, 35 plus years. I can't do that. So that's why you see me talking to you guys now. I'm not working for an NGO. So anyway, I was in Ghana back in 2015, 2016. I was doing my master research project. I won't say with which hospital, but the aim of my research project was to improve the health of people who had undergone brain damage. So specifically a stroke through either a bleed or a clot in the brain. For those of you guys that don't know, my background is in the medical field, with the medical industry. I've had over 10 years in the medical field. And so, yeah, that was specifically my research. I was passionate about, this research. It was big. Stroke is a big thing in Ghana. So I really wanted to make a contribution, right? And when I was there, certain people said they would facilitate me to gather data and so on during my research project and so on. And, then I learned that actually, if I wanted certain data or information, I had to pay my way. And I'm like, but I'm trying to do this where I've paid for a very expensive ticket out of my own pocket, which at that time I was a student. So that was a really burn, a hole in my pocket. Getting the visas and the stress of trying to mobilize the research and getting there, and then, having to basically kind of be coerced into corruption, because you either pay this money or you don't get the information that you need. Like, I felt that was really, really sad. Very, very sad for me. It was heartbreaking. It was off-putting. And I think by that time, I kind of lost a bit of interest. I don't like to be put in a situation where, you're thinking, oh, when you go on the street, you have one pocket for your spending, and then you have another pocket for corruption. So if you're stopped by, I don't know, whether it be police or whoever in whatever country, then you've got to make sure you go into the corruption pocket money. In Rwanda, I've never had to do anything like that. Nobody in government, in police or anything has ever, like, I've been coming since 2014. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, it does. But I've never been asked for any money for surrounding corruption or anything like that in Rwanda. But in Ghana, it was like, you want this, you need to pay this. You want this, you need to pay this. You want to go forward, you need to pay this. I was like, Jesus Christ, I can't live like this. Can't live like this. I don't know the situation now, but that was when I was last there. In Rwanda, I can be, my mind is not free when I'm like thinking about, I'm going on the road today. If I've stopped by a police, oh, I need to pay him this. But in Rwanda, I don't have to think about that. Like, my mind is free. I don't have to think about anything like that. I don't have to think about like that because, yeah, in Rwanda, corruption is very, very low. It's not tolerated on any level. And if you're found to be involved in it, my God, the punishment is going to be very high. The punishment, I heard of a guy who was involved in a corruption a couple of years ago. 5,000 Rwandan francs. For those who don't understand the currency here, let's say $5, it was converting it was $5. He got 5 years prison sentence. $1 for each year, right? That's how Rwanda, they function. They don't play. There's been people in positions who have not been able to account for certain things. Sacked. Whew. Gone, right? No, it's not tolerated here. And I like that. RG's in the building. Hello, Lady Visionary. Hello to you guys as well. Let me just get through the comments because I said, guys, I'm signing off shortly. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. Sorry, someone in a very noisy car. Miss Corin, I think that is a valid point about registration, because the impression you are given is that you register and you're good to go. Well, it's not that easy. It's a nightmare for the newbies. Get support, yes. So yeah, I think it's very important that I highlight this, that yes, you can, as I said, register your business within under 24 hours in Rwanda, but it doesn't mean that you can just operate, and you must make sure that you are meeting all the requirements before you can operate, because you can find yourself in trouble. So a way to avoid that is by, yes, booking with me the consultation, so the relocation business consultation, booking that with me. But if you want to reach out to the Rwanda Development Board directly for detailed information regarding your specific category of business, then the Rwanda Development Board, they're there and they're functional, so they're a good place to go for intensive information. Chosen Queen, by the way, I love what you've done with your resort. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's my pride and joy. I'm so pleased with what I've been able to achieve with that. But also I know there's still work to be done. I think I told a lot of you it's a 5-year plan. This is just year 1. And yeah, I'm just praying that, you know, things will continue to progress, and yeah, it will only go up from here. Yeah, I don't want to like praise myself, but yeah, I look back and I think, wow, you know, I really overcame some challenging times, and even now behind the scenes there are challenges in both my personal life and obviously in business. But the fact that I have that spirit to just, you know, just keep going. It's for me, it's I even inspire myself. I know that sounds crazy, but yeah. Yeah, so thank you, Chosen Queen. Thank you. Cedric Chusa is in the building. Great insight. Thank you as well. Welcome. Armo is saying making laws and implementations can be crazy different. Exactly. And that's what you see, you know, I guess not only on the motherland, but obviously it's a big problem here. That you will see okay, there are policies in place, but are they implemented? And one of the differences that I do see in Rwanda is that, I mean, I'm not saying that Rwanda is perfect. It still has, you know, a lot of work to do, still has a lot of improvements to make. But what I do see here and what I love is that there are policies that are being implemented. And so with that, when policies are being implemented, so people have to follow the policies, and people have to show others the policies by which they have to follow. That means that, you know, that deals with a level of corruption and clarification, and just gives a lot more guidance, especially for us who are coming as investors. We're relocating our whole life from one part of the world to another part of the world. So that's very important. And then obviously like the safety aspect of investing and so on and so forth, not wanting to be involved in corruption and bribe and so on. So, you know, that's really kind of promising. And Rwanda continue to work on the implementation of its policies, right? So I'm really loving that about Rwanda. Miss Corin, some traffic offense system in England, wash hands. Yeah, I mean, you know, some like there were some visitors that we collected from the airport, and I was telling them about this system, Sophie, where, you know, we have the camera system here, and within 3-4 hours, you just get the message on your phone here in Rwanda to tell you that you've been fined $25,000, so $25. And that, you know, so we don't have even that system in some parts of Europe and, you know, America. So that she was saying, oh, you know, they should really introduce this system in America. So Rwanda's trying, guys. You can't knock a country for trying. Armo is saying the citizens have to implement, want to implement. Yes. Also, the diaspora doesn't necessarily want African nations having laws or bans that restrict what they believe are personal freedoms. Yeah, I mean, you know, we're coming from a world where, especially those of us obviously from the West and from the Americas, we're conditioned in a way that the way that we think about freedom, right? But what works for the West and the Americas, we've been seeing that it doesn't work for the continent. So there has to be a difference in the way that we do things here on the motherland, all right? I believe that Africa needs a level of strictness and discipline and order. That's the only way we're going to see progress. Because if people just come into, an environment where there's no law and order and discipline breeds or manifests things that are very dangerous for a population. I think we can already see that on the motherland. So we need discipline, law, and order on the motherland, most definitely. If people come in, they have no restrictions on the things that they can do, they will exploit that situation. We're seeing it even now happening on the continent. They will exploit it to the fullest, to the detriment of the African people. Right? They will exploit it to the detriment of the African people. There's no clearer way that I can say this. There's no clearer way that I can say this. So those of you out there who are like, oh, no freedom, no this, what are you talking about? You've been conditioned to think a certain way coming from the West and Americas. You have got to decondition your mind, come to the motherland, look at the situation with fresh, clean eyes, not the eyes that you've been seeing, or the things that you've been seeing through the media, which has been largely false, right? Which has been largely false. So your opinions are based on false information that has been presented on Africa. So you need to come here and see it with fresh eyes, and you need to take time to see, to absorb, to feel, to connect. Then you're going to see the true realities. What do you mean freedom? You've been conditioned to think about freedom in a certain way. And you got to understand that Africa is a completely different ball game. Completely different ball game. Right? So Malachi Mohammed, I want to say thank you for that super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciating your support of the vision of the legacy building that I'm doing here in Rwanda. Thank you so much. Ronald is asking, is homosexuality banned? You'll have to look into the laws here in Rwanda, but from what I know here in Rwanda, Rwanda is a very welcoming country. They really don't discriminate against anyone. Even Helen DeGeneres, if you know her, she has a center in Kinigi in the northern region of Rwanda. The government has been facilitating her. From what I know, Helen DeGeneres, she's a lesbian. She's married to a woman. So Rwanda is an open country. They facilitate you as long as you are focused on the development of the country. They will facilitate you. They will encourage you. They will give you the pathways in which you can do whatever it is that you need to do. If it is destructive, and they found that to be so, they will put a stop to it, regardless of who you are, regardless of your sexuality. Okay? So I just want to make that clear. AF Diaspora, thank you so much for that super chat. Thanks for all the information. I'll be there next month. Yes. Yes to no more COVID testing. I thought that would be great, a great thing for a lot of you out there who are thinking about, coming to Rwanda. So yeah, if you're coming to Rwanda, guys, do remember that I do have an Airbnb in Kigali, Kiyovu, right close to the presidential residence in a really, really nice neighborhood. Yeah, very close to downtown, about 15 minutes from the airport, 10-15 minutes from the airport. And yeah, downtown with all your major shops and banks and so on. So it's a really good location, and it's a very, very affordable. So support your girl, because as I said before, I do run profitable businesses here, but with some of the profits, I'm able to make an impact on the community. If you don't know about the initiatives that I've started up, here in Rwanda, you need to go and check out my channel and get to know me a little bit better and learn more about my projects, such as the Masazera Water Project, the Masazera Farm Initiative. I've been able to send young people to school, specifically higher education, right, to study a degree. So, and that's been through the help and support that I've been able to mobilize personally through myself and my husband, but also through platforms like this, connecting with like-minded people and people who are interested in facilitating young people and seeing the development of Africa. Okay, so your support goes a very, very long way, right? So again, I just want to thank you all for the super chats that we've received so far. Miss Corin, Amo Weku has a good point. Don't get me wrong, social order, safety is necessary, but I fear that it will get crazy and the home we have struggled to return to will become the place we left. Wow, that's an interesting point. That's a really interesting point. But I really don't see that happening. I think you know, what we're seeing right now with the diaspora movement, you know, Africa has really seen over many years, there's been really a brain drain. And, you know, we, the diaspora, have to come home. We have to bring the brains back. We have to bring our skills back. We have to bring our exposure and experience back to implement here on the motherland. And with that will come the changes that we wish to see in the world, right? I definitely 100% believe that. It's going to be up to us, the diaspora, as well as, yes, the continental Africans, us working together and seeing how we can make a better Africa. And so I think it's very, very important to position yourself to be able to make a contribution to the motherland because you are passionate, you are interested in seeing there being changes in years to come to our motherland. So yeah, I don't think we need to fear. Chosen Queen saying, Miss Corin, exactly. Judah News is in the building. Hey, you're right. Amo, Miss Corin, I get the fear of the place you chose becoming the place you left. Some of the policies folks run from helped build those nations. Some things are necessary to gain control, to do good. Yeah, I think we as I said, we live in a society, we live in a world where there are certain powers and forces that are determining the way that we think. And so, you know, more of us are becoming or coming to that stage where we are thinking by ourselves, for ourselves. And I think that with that will come real changes on the motherland. Like, you know, the president of Rwanda has said on numerous occasions to the West and to the Americas, you know, the things that are implemented in your countries, it doesn't mean that we have to implement it here. We have to find our own way at which we're going to navigate and move forward. Right? So there is an awakening happening. There is a change happening. We definitely have to be willing or hopeful and be a part of that change, right? We have to be a part of the change and knowing that there has been a lot of Western European influence on the motherland. And that's going to take a lot of time to regurgitate. It's going to take a lot of time to spit out from the belly of the beast. It's going to take time. It's really going to take time. Time that maybe I will not live to see. Time that you may not live to see. Right? But at least we're doing something now. At least we have come to that level of consciousness and we're doing our part to make a difference. And for us to see, or for our children and their children to see the changes that we wished to see in the world, especially here on the motherland. Miss Corin, sister, you are on fire. Loving this. Stop giving into Western pressures. Start developing the much needed relationships between the Al-Kabulan continent, the African. Yes, it's true. We need to change our level of thinking, our mindset. We need to shift it from the Western European way, because the reality is that a lot of us, we don't know any other way except for the European and the Americas. That's what's been ingrained in our minds. So we try to bring that to the continent and it doesn't work, right? And you must know again that there's a lot of Western American influence through policies, through slavery and so on. That's embedded, and it's going to take time. It's to start with us. That's why the ancestors have called us home. Nobody, I think, right, I was talking to some diasporans who are here. If you ask them 5-10 years ago if they would be in Africa, they would relocate to Africa, they would look at you and laugh. Maybe if you asked me, I don't know, 20 or 15 years ago, if I would be in the motherland or on the motherland, maybe I would have laughed. But here I am. Who would have thought that this big diaspora movement, mobilizing diaspora, coming home to invest and be a part of development of the motherland, who would have thought? People who are here even have to question themselves like, oh my God, I'm here. Families can't believe you're here. What? You've picked up from America, you've sold your house, you're now in where? You're in Africa, you're investing, you're building your house, you're making progress. What? This is unheard of. How is it? It's a phenomena that people can't even understand themselves. But it was supposed to happen. It was meant to happen. As our ancestors left, not by their own choice, but by force, here we are coming back to the motherland by choice. And for those of you guys who are watching, you're like, oh, these people are going to Africa and they're saying this and they're saying that, oh, I'm not going. Let me tell you something. It's not like those slavery days where the slave masters took our ancestors by force. It is a choice. It is not by force that you leave the Americas and the West. It's not by force. And this is not for everyone. This is not for everyone. But if you're called to it, it's for you. If you are called to it, then it's for you. But I tell you this, it is not for everyone. It's really not for everyone. Guys, I hope you've been loving the conversation. Hope you've been finding it beneficial, most of all, because I want to put out content that is going to be thought-provoking, that's going to be beneficial, that's going to be of substance, that you can learn something, that we can learn from each other. I'm seeing a lot of comments and ideas here. So thank you so much for engaging. I really like that. Really like that. Oh, Miss Corin is saying, yes, Amo, you see, I'm here in Rwanda. I'm a newbie and everything Sis is saying is valued. But to me, it's about the African mindset. Look, yes, the African mindset. But again, I'm maybe repeating myself here that, you have to fully, there's a challenge around the mindset of a large population of the people. That can be tiring, can be time consuming. That needs education, that needs training, that needs exposure, right? So those, there's a holistic approach when it comes to the African mindset. And it's not one shoe fit all. It's really going to take time for there to be a shift in the mindset. And again, we're coming from an environment where our mindset is different. Our pace is different. The things that we've been exposed to are different. Our level of education, skills, and exposure are very different. So that can be a little bit of a cultural shock, or a little bit of a shock to many people, especially if you've never you've relocated, you've never visited any other African countries. You're learning, that can be a big challenge, right? Renaud is saying the Clintons love NGOs. Well, we know why. We know why. They've been able to mobilize millions, billions, should I say, of the back of poor people, right? So I wondered what would happen if I had like only a couple of thousands. What could Lady Visionary really do? So, and I have projects that are limited by finances, projects that I would love to do for the community that are only limited. My only limitation, because of the passion that I have, the drive that I have, the only limitation is finances, right? So can you just imagine, when I look at like even what I've been able to do with my glam site, what I've been able to achieve with like the impacts that I've made to people's lives here, the small impact that I've been able to make. And I just think, wow, what could happen if I had the means to do this on a larger scale? Just, but no man is an island. And I haven't been able to do it without some of you guys supporting me and just encouraging me with your words and prayers and just overall love. So that I don't take for granted. Most definitely not. Yeah, because the minute you think that you're doing everything by yourself and you're just this high and mighty person, the minute you just come crashing down, totally aware of that. And I am totally aware of, the impact of people coming together collectively and making a contribution, and how impactful that can be in transforming lives. And sometimes it doesn't even take a lot. In a lot of these cases, it doesn't take a lot. And that's what gets me so angry sometimes. Because to transform the lives of people, it really doesn't take a lot. But the heart and mind of people, so many people, selfish, greedy, I want more, I want more, I want more, me, 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 me. How can I use other people to get more, 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 and more, and more, and more? And so those are some mindsets that even we have to deal with people coming even from the West and the Americas, because that creates a very toxic and dangerous environment for vulnerable African people. Right, guys, make sure you smash the like button. If you're new, make sure you smash that subscribe button, and also make sure you smash the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I post. And remember, you can support my work, what I'm doing here in Rwanda, just by delivering a super chat, which is indicated by the $sign there at the comment box. And also, you can join me becoming one of a member behind the scenes, so you can just keep updated with what's happening with me behind the scenes. You can become a Patreon member, again supporting any one of my projects over there, and also via PayPal as well. Right, I'm getting you need to finish your live cue, so I'm getting it behind the scenes. So guys, I've been saying I'm going to finish like half an hour ago, but let me read your final comments and say my goodbyes. Armo is saying, Miss Corin, I agree that we all need mindset shift on varying levels in order to strive together, most definitely. Renaud, there will be a new scramble for Africa. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. Definitely, I see that already happening. Yeah. Andy, hey, how you doing? Blessed, everyone. Nice to see you in the building. How have you been? I totally agree that not all things work for all people. I believe the younger a nation is, the easier it is to implement new law. This is why American democracy won't work the same for newer nations. Yes, I totally agree with that. Miss Corin, yes, brother Amo and Ronald. I think it is also because the management of resources and the reduction of the African people to change mindsets, we need to debunk and dissolve the forced habits and beliefs. Yes. Ronald is saying, I married a Rwandan lady. Congrats. Francis, hello, Lady Visionary. I hope all is well with you and your family. Yes, so far we're doing good. Yesterday we were at a traditional wedding. So today we're at the white wedding ceremony. So after this, I've got to put myself together for that this afternoon. Okay, Miss Corin, for example, start calling Africa, but its rightful name. Okay, I hear you. Right, you guys have a lot of comments here, which I don't think I'll be able to read out, but it shows that you guys have really engaged here. So thank you so much. Sorry, guys, I'm just reading your comments. There's a lot of comments. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Francis is asking, how is the condition of the lady in the hospital in Jamaica? So her condition is a continuously disabling condition. I did put out a GoFundMe for her. The GoFundMe is still available. If you haven't seen that video, please go ahead and see that video and also support via the GoFundMe link, which will be in the description box. She's in a very vulnerable condition, and as of right now we're trying to organize so that her children can get back into school. So that is the main focus as well, obviously, as well as her health, but her condition will continue to deteriorate, but we're trying to do our best for the children. But we haven't been able to raise enough with the GoFundMe, so we still require ongoing support for that. I want to say thank you, Francis, for pointing that out, because I was supposed to say that in this live, that we need more support with the lady who has scleroderma. I did put out a video on my channel, so if you can go ahead and view that video, or just go to the description box where you can find out more information about this lady and her children alongside her condition. And if you can support with $5, $10, $15, whatever you can support with, I would really appreciate it. And what I'll do also is I will give you the PayPal link if anybody wants to send something for her as well. Right, you guys, there's so many comments. Wow. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, guys, I won't be able to get through all of this, but yes, I love that. I love that comment. Amo is saying sometimes maximum effort doesn't have to be highest financial contributions. And yeah, and that's what I say. Like, I see that. I'm like, like some of we can make large impacts with very little. And it's so unfortunate that the very little that is required, even the very little that is required, people can't just give that effort or make that contribution. So it's really, really sad to see that. But, I can't focus on that. I just can focus on the resources that I have now and what I'm able to do with that to help the people that I can help. And then my plan is just to continue to be of value and just to continue to make an impact as I continue to grow in this space. Right, I want to say thank you so much to Francis for the super chat. Really appreciate that, for Jessiane in Jamaica Hospital. Thank you so much. What I will also do, because I have to move the camera, guys. Let's see if I can send out the PayPal link. It may work, it may not. I have time for just one question. If anybody wants to ask me a question, I will definitely be going now because I've been on here for a while. So bear with me as I type in the PayPal for anybody who may be interested to make a donation towards this young lady who has an increasing disabling condition. And again, if you have any questions for me, I have time for one more question. And then I have to go, guys. Let's see if I put that properly. Okay. So there is the PayPal link for anybody who wants to support. I would appreciate your support, guys. So thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. I know I've been on here for a while. Hopefully, again, you found it extremely useful. Please make sure you have hit the like button. I'd really appreciate that. Please make sure if you found it valuable, maybe it can be useful for someone else, then if you can share it to your family and friends, get a family member or friend to subscribe to Lady Visionary. I know quite a number of you have been asking where I've been, but I have been behind the scenes working. And I'll try my best with YouTube, guys. I can't promise anything, but I'll try my best to continue to give you guys content that is valuable and useful. Yeah, I'll just try my best. So do bear with me. If I'm not on here, don't think anything crazy has happened. I'm just busy. And if anything crazy happens, I will come and let you guys know. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you all in the next one. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you follow me over on Instagram. That is Lady Visionary. Please reach out to me on Instagram. My business Instagram is Twin Lakes Recreational Islands. Go ahead and check me out. Follow me over there. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.